Okay, headphones on, should be good. Just waiting for it, Sal. Anybody out there watching us live, thanks for joining in.
Is there anybody out there?
Okay, we are live, Sal. So are you ready?
I am ready.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobrakai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal, we are back for another super fun episode.
I'm so grateful that we have enough bounty to necessitate another fan appreciation episode. This is
you beat me to it. Yeah, I was holding back, but yes, this is true. This is another one. Fan Appreciation Volume 6.
Wow.
I'm excited. There is enough there, enough bounty. And we are covering today the Patreons. We always give shout outs to the present and new, previous and new, as well as our Apple 5-star reviews.
Yeah. So when you interact with us, we interact back.
Yes, we do.
That's what we're doing.
So let's start with the Patreons. And I want to go oldest to newest. And we're just going to give our shout outs as usual, maybe talk about when they joined and what level they're at. And also some of them have kind of messaged on Patreon with me, us, and we'll say a couple things there too. Nothing bad, Sal. Nothing bad. Get a new co-host, Sal or Jason.
No, you know what? Jason intercepts all Just Curious Media messages to make sure I don't say or do anything inappropriate. That's
they get responded to. You know,
or that.
That's important. All right, we're going to start with the original Patreon. Lindsay Baybout joined March 28th, 2021. Strike first, Sal.
What's amazing, Jason, is that title as the first,
it's the best,
will never be taken from her.
No, it's incredible. So well done on you, Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay.
And then second on the list, Jason Kersey.
Yes.
April 28th. You know him. April 28th, 2021. Strike hard.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to announce that we have had Jason on an episode. We recorded our episode a few weeks ago. Sal, myself, Jason, all there in Zoom. It went live, but then the re-airing of the YouTube is waiting for the podcast to come out. So we slot these. We have several weeks to go, but the episode will be coming out very soon. So you can see both Sal and I speaking with Jason. That was so much fun having him on the podcast.
It was. For one thing, it was very different. It was the first time there's ever been 3 parties.
Yep.
Right? You and I and someone else. That's the first time that's ever happened. And Jason Kersey has a very cool, what would you call it? A prop, memorabilia.
He sure does. It is
it's fantastic.
It's a signed gi, from the Karate Kid. It was amazing. And it's right behind him in his virtual Zoom setup. Mm-hmm. And he's a fellow podcaster.
Oh.
So he's not new to the space, but we love having him on. It's a Patreon. Loved having him on the show. Cannot wait to share that episode with all of you. And other people at that level will be doing the same thing. So super exciting. Next, we have Machete, who joined June 16th, 2021. Strike hard.
Yeah. And
he writes, happy to support you on Patreon. Get that merch going. Laugh out loud. Sal, I know you've been all over this merch thing. We don't have any. Unfortunately, we don't have the rights to the Cobrakai logo.
Sure.
But we're having lots of fun. And maybe someday there'll be some Just Curious merch. Who knows?
You know what I'm thinking, Jason? You're right.
Cafe
we are
press.
Okay. We are somewhat limited in the fact that we're dealing with copyrighted items like the Cobrakai symbol itself. Maybe Sal and Jason bobbleheads. Maybe that's in the future. Some giant headphones with their heads.
Yeah.
That could work. And
well, you're the action figure guy. Where do we get these done?
There are actually places where you can design your own action figure. In fact, they're taking 3D images of your face, putting it on action figures. So whether it be a bobblehead or an action figure, that is actually entirely possible. Now, anybody and everybody can actually have their face or image on some sort of figure or figurine.
Okay. I said Neko. I meant not Neko. I was thinking of Taiko, but NECA, right?
NECA, yes.
I was combining my companies there. Sorry about that.
Oh, you were thinking Taiko, like the race
I was
cars?
Thinking, I was like,
the racetracks?
What am I
used
saying?
to have those.
All right. So moving on. Next, we have Brian Rumfola. joined June 23rd, 2021. Strike hard. And we are now scheduling our episode with Brian because before we even made it a level where you're going to be on the show, I had already reached out to our early Patreons, a few of them, like, hey, do you want to come on? And we were talking because we've had a lot of communication offline. And so we're scheduling now. He's, got the holidays. He's really busy with work. So we're going to find a time post Thanksgiving to do so. I should also say he didn't stop at strike hard. I apologize. On August 10th, 2021, he jumped up to No Mercy.
Whoa.
So that's when he becomes more in the fold. He was the first No Mercy. So
wow. Okay. So
very clear.
That will never be taken away.
Never. He knows that. Oh yeah. We're very aware of that. Yes. Absolutely.
I place a lot of value in being the first at something because that can never be taken from you.
You are my first co-host.
And that can never be taken from me.
No one can have it. No one can take the title. You own that. So next we have Adam Ulrich, October 14th, 2021, not October 24th, 2021. I said that on the Patreon Palooza episode. The 1 and the 2 got transcribed and screwed up. So October 14th, and he's No Mercy as well. So our second No Mercy, but wait, on November 4th, 2021, he jumped up to black belt.
What? Which is a newer level?
Newer level. That came out of the Patreon Palooza. Newer level, highest level so far. There's higher ones, but he's the highest so far of our Patreons. So way to go, Adam. I love this jump up a level. Maybe they get in there and they train in the dojo and then they do go up a level. I kind of like that. So yes, good on you. And Sal, why don't you just give Adam's text there. He shared this just in a real quick exchange. It's real short and sweet, but do you see it there?
Yes. Adam says, I love the show. Keep up the great work.
Hey, man.
Very nice.
We're here for you. Thank you for being there for us.
These people are going to be our board of directors, Jason, is what they're going to be. They're going to be calling shots soon is what they'll be doing.
Uh-oh. Hang on a second. Next, we have David Chisholm, and he came on board November 3rd, 2021, strike first. And then Sal, on November 14th, strike hard. That same day, No Mercy.
Wow.
Yeah. He's the first triple.
What happened? What happened? Because you said in the same day.
Same. Well, yeah. The first one, no, he was strike first for almost 2 weeks. And then boom, boom. Maybe he listened to a great episode of ours.
Wow.
And got motivated.
Hey, whatever we did. Thanks, David.
Whatever it is. Hey, it worked. Maybe it was that Daryl Vidal episode.
I know you're proud of that. And that's a fantastic episode.
Because I think it's something people don't explore. That's that.
The part of the reason I'm proud of our show is because we do go down rabbit holes and cover avenues that I think a lot of people would not cover. I think we are a must listen. Our content is, I believe, a must listen. A must listen for any Cobra Kai Karate Kid fan. I absolutely believe that.
Well, let me tell you what David had to say. Because after the exchange, when they join, I immediately thank them, reach out to them, and this is what I got back. And then I asked permission, especially with his, because it's a little more, it's touching. And he's like, oh my God, he'd be honored. So here's what he said. I've listened to most of the episodes of Let's Talk Cobra Kai at least a dozen times since beginning to present.
Wow.
What? Must listen again and again and again, Sal. The show has been amazing, especially for my overnight shifts and the occasional gloomy period in my life. I'm really grateful for the job you guys do. Exclamation mark. Wow. Touched.
Yeah. Very high praise.
Touched. That could easily be a beautiful Apple 5-star review. And it is to us, Sal. It is to us. But I want to share this because I just read it. I immediately shared this with you, if you recall. Yeah. I sent it to you. I usually do like a screen grab, like here, I just want to keep you in the loop, keep your motivation, keep you, like me. I don't want to just keep this to myself. I want to share it, and I want to share it with everyone else.
Yeah. And somebody who surpasses my listening, because if I listen to every episode for sure twice, maybe 3, if I love it, 4.
Well, now you're watching them as well.
Okay, so now it becomes 6 and 7, but a dozen times.
It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, and those gloomy times, believe me, I understand.
Totally.
We all understand, believe me.
Yes.
And well, we're glad to be there, and we're glad that you're there. So thank you.
Yeah, I have content that got me through those times, our cross-country road trips when I was moving. There's times you're just like, man, what am I doing? And you need a buddy. You need someone. Hopefully we're that buddy for some people, and I found refuge in that myself. So I am honored. In fact, Sal, when I moved to LA, going back to 2004,
Wow.
I had to leave my dog, Brody, in Tulsa just for 2 months. I had him flown out, but I had to go get situated and I didn't know where I was going to be dog friendly. So that was really hard. And I hit the road, and my uncle, before I left, gave me a CD on, a book on CD. And this is it's 2004, right?
Sure.
And he gives me this book, and I'm like, what am I ever going to listen to this thing? I'm on that drive, and I played it. It was the Da Vinci Code, and it had just come out.
Wow. Yeah.
And that passed so much of the time. It was well read. And I just was like, thank you for that. Cause I needed something to kind of be my co-pilot for that drive. And that's when I realized like road trips are really, I'm all about like, now there's, XM radio, and you can listen to, good kind of audio content as well as podcasting and audibles. But at that time it was like, wow, this works. Music is great, but that's great leaving town. And then it's like, now what? It's a pretty straight, long drive. But anyway.
No, whenever I road trip, Jason, it's usually going to be on the 101 North or the 10 East. And whenever I hit the 10 East, I do play the end of 6 Feet Under. When Claire hits the 10 East,
of course.
I ride with Claire,
and
when I hit the 10
tears
East.
are just coming down, just trickling down. Yeah. I understand, Sal. I've been there.
Yeah. So thanks, David.
Thank you, David.
We get it. We understand. Thank you.
Now here comes a familiar name. If you remember some of the other episodes we've done, fan appreciation, his name, our handle has come up, and that's AkitoCon80. He joined November 4th, 2021, Strike Hard. Yeah. And Sal, I know you know the name well. I've always called him a super fan, and I'm going to let you read what AkitoCon80 has to say.
Yes, AkitoCon80 says, hey, Jason and Sal, you Cobra guys that never dies. There it is. Hey, Jason and Sal, you Cobra guys that never dies. I striked hard, fist, with the honor of being one of many, I hope, that sponsors your awesome podcast. Headphones. As said, I never want you or it to die. And you have talked many times of Patreon, so I got it only because of you guys and this excellent way of supporting your pod. Yours truly, Nicholas, your Swedish power fan, loved it when you mentioned me on one of your fan appreciation episodes. Fist, happy face, no mercy. Love you guys. Thank you, AkitoCon80. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, Nicholas, AkitoCon80, awesome as usual. He kills it. Yeah, you weren't expecting Cobra guys. He snuck that by you. Well done, sir. And I'm glad to have him in the fold as a Patreon at the Strike Hard level. Really cool. And that leads us to our most recent and last Patreon. But hey, we have an incredible crew, and that is Stephanie McLeeman. She joined November 10th, 2021. No mercy. And she says, I just love you guys. I look forward to all your podcasts. So excited about next season. And there's a karate gi. Love it. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining. We cannot wait for next season. If we have it my way, the show drops tomorrow on Thanksgiving because we are recording this the day before Thanksgiving. Those of you watching live know this, but probably not going to happen. But hey, I can hope.
Yeah. And you know what? Very exciting also, Jason, to see a woman on board.
That's two.
Yeah. Okay.
At least. I mean,
sometimes a name is somewhat ambiguous. You don't really know. Yeah. But Stephanie, we can assume is a female right off the bat. So
I've seen her on social media.
So so you know for sure Lindsay is a female.
Yeah.
Okay, because like Lindsay Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
So you know that our Patreon Lindsay is a female. Okay, so great. So we got two female Patreons.
That's amazing.
I love it. I'm very proud of that. Because I don't want to be a boys club. I like hanging out with guys and talking crap, but I don't want our podcast to just be a boys club. I want it to be for everybody.
Well, Cobra Kai is not. Cobra Kai has
Cobra Kai
strong
itself,
female characters.
yes,
And Karate
yes.
Kid did too, but it really was a boys' club movie.
I think more so Cobra Kai.
It was.
Yeah, Cobra Kai reaches out to the female. I don't think that Karate Kid necessarily did. So I'm proud to be a part of that and to piggyback on that. And I'm proud to believe that our podcast is multi-generational, multi-ethnic, and multi-gender.
Well said. I just want to be clear though. Ali and Yukie are very strong female characters, but the show was really that movie, those movies, the trilogy is more about the boys' club, as you said. So, all right, that is the Patreons. Thank you so much. We love each and every one of you for believing in us and the show, and your contributions help so much. It helps offset just some of the costs that we endure to make this show. And Sal and I are coming back each and every week to do more, to create more, to create more, to try new things, we're not just waiting for episodes to drop. We are dropping stuff on a weekly basis, interviews, bringing fans on the show, getting more and more creative in things we break down. In fact, as you go back and watch things now, you see things differently. We may go back to certain episodes of the show as we get further down the road and put some things together. So I'm having so much fun. I never knew it would take on this lifestyle. I like
that though.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea of revisiting
we're doing that with the movies all the
Cobra
time.
Kai.
Exactly. Or maybe, something's there. And it's like, oh, there were some pivotal things here. Let's dissect that a little bit more. Wow. And as you go down, when was the last time we dissected anything from season 1? So if we did it now, inevitably you'd see something. That's what happens on repeat viewing and repeat listening. Maybe people are learning things about the show that we didn't even know, our show, when they're listening to it a dozen times. But anyway, so much fun.
Jason, fanship or being in love with a certain property or franchise creates the repeat viewing. And I got to say, I myself was not a repeat viewer. That's just not how I lived, what I was taught.
Yeah.
I have become a repeat viewer of certain content for our purposes, Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. And then that has spawned other things, like when I join you on Let's Talk Movies and I watch a movie 2 or 3 times. And when you do that, things jump out at you didn't see before.
They do.
So I have a new appreciation for multi-watching that I didn't have before.
When I went back on that Karate Kid kind of deep dive I went on like a month ago and just was looking at Freddy's scenes, and then that's when I discovered Vidal and started putting, my mind was kind of blown. Like, it was always right here, but now it has such different context from the show. So I think even when we get through season 4, I'll probably go back and kind of glance at or just sift through or even watch them all, the movies, because they're probably going to do a lot of cool tie-ins, and they're going to take a little detail from like Karate Kid 3 with Terry Silver that we just couldn't think about that much, and it'll have a life in the series. And I love that, because you'll go back and go, oh yeah, whatever it is, his house, how do you get the E in his house or whatever. I'm super excited to do so because I don't know. It's thrilling. And it also excites me when we do that on Let's Talk Movies. We're starting to do crossover movies now. We recently did Roadhouse, which had a lot of martial arts. It was a lot of fun. It's about to air on Let's Talk Movies. And so there's all that stuff. I'm more inspired to do, kind of reminisce and look at older things, because probably why we've been doing this show. It's kind of spawned in me like, oh yeah, I like that movie then. How would I feel about it now? And you're doing that a lot. I've made that some of your homework, and you were 5 of the 10 movies for the first 10 movies of the 80s for Let's Talk Movies, and you hadn't seen those movies in a while.
No.
And you watch
you watch a movie at 12, you watch a movie at 13 versus your 40s. It's going to be a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, and you're like, you know what, this is great. And that's the whole purpose of that particular show. It's a reason to watch a movie for the first time or revisit it. So anyway, same thing here, but thank you all, Patreons. And now that leads us to the Apple Podcast 5-star reviews.
Wow.
So we got 3 new ones, which is amazing. And the time frame for this is September and October 2021. So just a 2-month time frame. Real quickly, on our 5-star ratings, we're at 121 ratings now, still holding that 4.8. So bravo. That's very well done. The more we can get, though, those little simple 5-star ratings take literally, how long does it take, Sal? Just on a phone.
Do that again. Hang on. I'm trying to count. Go ahead.
Did you get it? Did you get that?
That's like half a second.
Yeah, it's not long. The more of those, the better. It helps us with, well, tell us, Sal, why does that help us online?
Well, one thing it does is us as web users are at the mercy of the algorithms.
Yes.
The algorithms decide what we see, but the algorithm is affected by usage and interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you guys a little, just a little inside info here. If you, let's say, have a YouTube video and somebody gives it a dislike, somebody giving a YouTube video a dislike is better than them not doing anything.
How about that?
Because it shows interactivity, which then affects the algorithm and will actually give you a better placement in the algorithm so that new people can see this particular content.
Let me just chime in here, though.
Yes.
For our shows on YouTube, please click the other way.
Do not dislike.
If you hate us, just move on and forget about us. I'd rather have that.
Yeah, we'd rather have that, but that's how these things work.
I know, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
When you reach out to the shows, ours no exception. When you reach out to us, things get affected. Hell, you know what? In recent years, I've observed that when I merely look at something on Amazon, I merely look at it, I affect the price.
Cart.
No, I affect the price.
You do. The longer you look at it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? What a crazy world we live in. But here we are, victims of the algorithms. So the algorithms are about interactivity. So when you guys get involved with us, reach out to us, leave the reviews, leave the 5-star ratings. It does benefit us and affects the show.
Yes, please do. And when you take that next step and you leave a review, all the better. These 5-star reviews are incredible. I know it takes time. It's very cumbersome. It's probably and Apple might not take it sometimes. I've heard this from people, like I've submitted mine 3 times, and that I hate hearing that.
I've heard that.
I don't know why that is, but that's on them, and hopefully they've got that worked out. Or if you went to a different browser or a different device, but we have 3 new ones that did. Now, one snuck through because I just got it. It's from the UK, and it was in August, but I only got it recently. It popped up because the international are also funky. Sal, I'm going to let you take that one. It's incredible. It's longer, and I'll take the 2 smaller ones, but we'll start with that. Please do the honors.
Jason, I was going to talk to you about this ahead of time because the name is quite interesting.
It is a great name. That's the name. UK. UK is different. They use things differently.
Yes, words have different meanings.
Yes, they do.
In the UK.
Yeah. So
username Park Runner Tits. Park Runner Tits from the UK.
Name.
Down at the pub with a couple of mates drinking Coors Banquets. This podcast just gets better and better. What with Jason's smooth and silky dialogue together with Sal's wit and singing voice, this doesn't feel like I'm listening to a podcast about a TV show, but a chat with some mates about this cobrakai world. Though I have never been to the places it has been filmed in or pretended to be, both Jason and Sal bring you with them into their space called cobrakai. And there's more. I have a question for both of you. Which actor or actress who has not been in Cobra Kai or Karate Kid would you love to have an appearance in a future show? I would love to see Steven Seagal pop in. He could even be on the bad side as one of John Kreese's pals from the war. Wow. This is a heavy duty paragraphs here. First of all, thank you, Park Runner Tits from the UK. We appreciate your leaving this review.
PRT, Park Runner Tits. I applaud you. I read this and I was like, oh my gosh, Sal, wait till you read this incredible 5-star review. And also, I most likely or most often would take the bottom part and put it in a fans comments and questions episode. However, this is part of a 5-star review. It's not just a comment online. So I'm leaving it intact for that very reason. This is how it reads online. And the first part, bravo. Thank you for your wonderful compliments. I mean, listen, I could read that all day long and be like, wow, that's awesome. And so fun. We're a couple of mates drinking Coors Banquets down at the pub. Absolutely. Absolutely. Next time in the UK, Parker Runner Tits, we're going to have that pub. We're going to meet at a pub and have that drink or a few.
Well, Jason,
pints,
you have been to the
many
UK,
times.
So.
Yeah.
You have you had the warm
London
room temperature beer, right?
Well, I prefer, my taste has changed. I've been to the Guinness, brewery, and yeah, I've been there quite a few times, but
Nice.
next time I should get that right. We'll have a pint at the pub. Yeah, they do some like it room temperature. Other places I've been, Sal, they had the coldest Guinness in Ireland or the coldest Guinness in wherever. So it's to each their own.
Have you been to
a place called
cold beer? Have you been to the Slaughtered Lamb?
I have in New York.
Oh, wow.
There was I've talked about this on an American Werewolf in London episode of Let's Talk Movies. Or maybe it didn't make the cut, actually. I think I was editing that out. I met John Landis in New York, but I went to the Slaughtered Lamb. It's a restaurant in New York, or was, and it was an homage to the Slaughtered Lamb from the movie. Very cool. It was like, I was like, wait a second. And I met him that very visit, John Landis, and I was like, this is too weird. So I actually read it online, walked over and had a meal there. It was just, it was America's version. It was like the Applebee's of the Slaughtered Lamb, but it was still pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, since we're talking, the closest I've ever been to that is having a Wiener Schnitzel in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, there you go.
That's the only part of Europe that I personally have ever partaken in, and believe me, I savor it to this day.
Wow. Well, let's get to his question or her question. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, since I read it, let me answer that.
Their question.
Okay. Who would I like to see? I'll tell you who I'd like to see.
Who's that?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, not Jean-Claude.
Okay, Jean-Claude.
I was like, who's he going to? Gene Kelly? Yeah. Okay.
Jean. Well, you're good at your French. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would love to see Van Damme. He's still out there. He's still doing the splits, I think.
He probably would do it. That's a great Seagal. So we have a Seagal and a Van Damme. I like it, man. Those are two great ones. Well, I thought about this today as well. Yeah. When I got the notes ready. And my answer is Keanu Reeves.
What?
I think he'd be incredible. Really? He's coming from The Matrix and John Wick and Speed.
And he does do martial arts, yes?
Well, if he doesn't, he could fake it till he makes it.
I thought he does.
And I think if he came in as a super sensei, Sal,
wow.
If there's one person that could do this, Keanu Reeves could bring peace to the valley. He could do it. Think about it. He's really into like Buddhism, and he's just got a whole thing about him.
He's known for being a gentle person, a tender, a sweet person. Yes.
Yeah. How about all three? Let's get them all in there. Seagal, Van Damme, and Reeves.
This is crazy. I'm being blown away. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Keanu Reeves he's one of those guys. When we talked about and Let's Talk Movies, talk about Roadhouse, talk about Patrick Swayze.
Beloved. Amazing, but
these people, there are certain people who are kind of beloved by everyone. You know who I put in that category? Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Dolly Parton. These people who are beloved by multiple people outside of their own audience base.
Dolly Parton would be an interesting answer. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, thank you so much, Parker Renatitz. I'm just sad that it took 2 months to get this amazing review that you put up in August, but we finally got it. Mm-hmm. International ones are weird. I have a different service now that we're able to get these, because otherwise you do not see them.
Wow.
You do not. I don't even know if our fans see these. I now can get them because we had one from Australia, Clucky Manfishy, I believe.
Yes.
And maybe other ones from the UK. So,
well, Jason, let me add this since we're talking. I want to say this for the benefit of the non-Apple, since we are talking, for the benefit of the non-Apple users. So I used to be Apple. Now I've been a Samsung, Google phone for 3-4 years now.
Android.
Unfortunately, what'd you say?
Android.
There we go. Yeah. When I try to look at Apple reviews, it's a little complicated. It's not as easily accessible. So for those of you who are not Apple users, are Android users, or maybe Windows-based phones, you kind of got to jump through a couple of hoops to access and see the Apple reviews, but I would encourage everybody to do so. If you have to download Apple Podcasts or download iTunes, do they still have iTunes?
I don't know. They've changed so many names recently. It's a podcast now.
Yes.
If there is, they're phasing it out. So
okay, but you can see it's there. You just kind of have to wiggle around. You can indeed see and potentially be a part of Apple reviews, even if you are a non-Apple user.
And there are some other apps now that are taking reviews. I don't know the names of them, but if you have one that can also filter in. Right now, we just call them Apple Podcast reviews because Apple is like the lion's share of the viewership and the interactiveness of it all. So, all right, the last two. The first one is Chile.
Yeah, it's spelled like the country, right?
Chile, and it's Chile. Chile. The best around. Always love that sound. Great start. A must listen for any Cobra Kai fan. Not even Snake or Dennis could hold a candle to Jason and Sal.
Yeah.
Now, I know you were first thinking it was Snake Plissken.
Yeah. Because it took me a second. Sometimes I may be a little late, but I will catch up. And it took me a second. Well, thanks to you, Jason, to remind me who Snake and Dennis were.
Yeah. And who are they, Sal?
They were part of the henchmen that hung out with Mike Barnes in Karate Kid 3.
Right.
Wasn't one of them a nephew or something?
I think so.
Well, somebody's nephew.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This is all the more reason to go back and watch Karate Kid Part 3 and enjoy our special episode. Yes. I also think there's a podcast or a message board or some sort of something that a Snake and Dennis run. I think that I did a quick search. I think there is. I mean, there's a lot of Cobra Kai talk now, of course. I mean, we didn't get in it out of the gate, but we were early adopters. We really were. I brought you on a board and this show was still on YouTube. But yeah, I think there is. But hey, Chile, thank you. Such an honor. Love that you call us the best around. We always love that.
Yeah.
And a must listen. And it's an honor. It really is. Can't hold a candle to us. Come on. I mean, that's high praise. Thank you. We'll take it. But super cool. Love to have you as a fan. And again, write in a 5-star review. I get it. I mean, how many have I done in my day? Don't even ask. Don't ask.
Well, after I buy something on Amazon, they're like, will you write a review? I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I started doing some on Amazon for things I really like. Like, you know what? I'm going to break the seal and do a few. Yeah. So I get it. And once people start doing it, it may not be as tough, but it's hard to do. We love them. Just to have as many as we do, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. I mean, because, when it comes to writing a review for, I don't know, Amazon or Walmart, whatever. I mean, you think, this big company, who cares? But we're not big company. We are definitely mom and pop.
No, we're not.
We are definitely cottage industry. So we need this.
What's before mom and pop? What's lower than mom and pop?
What's lower than mom and pop? Just mom, just pop. Single parent.
We're there.
Yeah, I mean, we're still growing, we're still blossoming. So yeah, we need all the support. And you know what all the support makes me think of, Jason, and I really mean this. First of all, gratitude, very grateful to our listeners, grateful to the reviewers, to the Patreons, very grateful. But then I feel like, there's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. It's like we got people on our team now.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do? How we got to deliver now, like more so.
What's up?
I think I feel like we got to up our game even more now.
We just have to be ourselves.
Okay.
We have an abundance of passion and knowledge and enthusiasm. And and what did Park Runner Tit say? Smooth, silky dialogue and your wit and singing voice out. We got this covered.
Nice. I'm going to be releasing a box set of Karate Kid covers sung by.
Oh, I love that. Let's do it.
All the Karate Kid songs you love, sung by me, and in a box set.
Let's do it. And the last one we have. Last 5-star review is from Serenity Rose E. SERENITYROSE E. If you like Cobra Kai, you must listen! ! This is a great show for any Cobra Kai fan. They break down all the episodes, characters, trailers, and everything we missed. I learned so much from them and love hearing their commentary. Bonus that it's profanity free. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
Serenity Rosie, thank you so much. Very kind, very sweet, spot on. And yes, the profanity thing is something we talked about before.
We talked about this recently.
Even recently, because in our real lives, sometimes profanity comes out. You're explaining something, it's colorful. I always felt on a show, unless it's in the show, and we have used them, we have said some words before, profanity before, when they've used it in the show.
Yeah.
Or we had one special episode that actually was part of the title, ralphmacchio. It was like a funny video. And that's the time to use it. I just felt like this show is such a cross blend of ages and generations. And why choose that route if you don't really need to? Because it doesn't feed the show. I mean, they weren't rated R movies. I kind of feel like you go with what it is. And so I appreciate that you bring that up. There was another 5-star review at one point in time that mentioned it as well. They could drive around with kids in the car and I get it. And I didn't seek this praise out. It was just a choice, like the content. Now, our other show, or one of my other shows, Just Curious Media shows, is Let's Talk Movies. And on that show, we're dealing with rated R movies, and it could happen more often. Like, he says blank, or he says this. So, but I appreciate that. And yes, Sal and I have gone back and forth. I was even refraining recently on Roadhouse because there was an F-bomb, and I was like, oh, how do I handle it? Because I've been programmed more on this show because we have a lot more episodes. And it's like, no, that can be what it is. And this is what it is. And so, but wonderful, wonderful review.
So I think the general consensus for Jason and I is, if there is some expletives in the original content, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, or whatever, we may say those words.
Yeah,
referencing the words that were used in the actual movie or show.
Yeah.
But aside from that, we're not just going to go throw around dropping F-bombs, because you know what? I like the idea that somebody can just play us and you got kids in the car.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because they can let their guard down, they can chill out, they can relax. They're not having to worry about, hitting stop, I like that, and I'm proud of that. And you know what? I like how you wrote Serenity Rosie. You must listen. I do consider our show to be a must listen.
You said it this episode
for the Cobra Kai fan. I absolutely do. I mean that. I'm not just saying that because it's you and me. If it were not you and me, whatever. If I just heard our show from some strangers, I would go, I think this is pretty good. So yeah, I do think we come from a lot of different angles. We cover a lot of different things.
Yes.
Proud of our show very much. Serenity Rose E, thank you very much. And we will stay as profanity free as we can, as much as the content allows us to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to consider the show a clean show. It's just, what it is. We're covering Cobra Kai, that TV show on Netflix. So obviously that's going to be a lighter show. Now, if they tuned into Jason and Sal After Dark, well, look out. Maybe don't play that one with the kids in the car, right?
Well, if we ever did Jason and Sal cover certain shows, like I know Breaking Bad, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
We've talked about Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, there's lots of situations in that alone that cross the line, and we love it. But that's the context.
Yeah.
This is coming from the Karate Kid. It's innocent, right?
It's family. In the end, it is family.
Yeah. So that's all I got. Thank you all to Patreons, supporters. Thank you all to let me do that again. Thank all of you Patreon supporters, thanking all of our 5-star reviewers and all of our fans who now watch us on our YouTube live channel, who listen to the podcast, which is the edited, more streamlined version. And keep coming back, because Sal and I, week after week, will be coming back as well. But it feels so much more like fulfilling, Sal, I would say, to know that our listeners are engaged.
Yeah. And we're all on the same page. We're all excited for season 4. We all support Cobra Kai, Karate Kid. We all want to know the ins and outs of everything. I like that I feel like we're part of a movement. We're part of a movement, especially going into season 4. So I'm proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for listening, and please be sure to subscribe to Let's Talk Cobra Kai wherever you get your podcast. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on our social media, which is at Let's Talk Cobra Kai, as well as at Just Curious Media.
If you're a dedicated listener of Let's Talk Cobra Kai, consider supporting the show on Patreon. This greatly benefits us on many fronts and offers you access to exclusive content and much more. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.
All right, man. Great.